Chugga 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 ch. Choo choo. KEKFILA TCG. It's a great day here at KEKFILA's YouTube. This is KEKFILA, and with me I have today Godon. How are you doing today?
Hey, what's going on?
It's just going. Today we have not exactly a guide, but more of a going over a deck profile per se of your recent 9-1 regional topping from this last weekend. Well, technically yesterday, but was coming out on Monday. Yeah. After the tournament, how are you feeling? Is this your first serial or is it second serial?
No, first serial, but like I've gotten close like a few times and bubbled out of X1. So
that's hype, dude.
It's nice to actually bubble in this time.
I'd be dancing around. That's awesome, especially with, I would say I'm gonna call this a unique deck because not everyone's playing Purple Luffy, right?
I would say it's a little bit of a sleeper, but yeah, no, there's been a few people topping with Purple Luffy here and there. I think there was another regional that just happened. Exactly. And our lists were only like 3 or 4 cards away from each other, so it's kind of nice to see that someone else was thinking similar.
Yeah, exactly. Today we're going to go over a little bit of the matchups, but I wanted to ask about the deck profile. But first, why did you consider playing Purple Luffy?
So actually, it's really funny. I already have an invite because I wasn't able to make it to Dallas. So I said, you know what, let me just mess around. And I know I had a wedding later that day. I was like, hey, I got to make it to this damn wedding. I'm just going to mess around. I need to make, play 3 games, get participation, have some fun. Fast forward a few hours. It's like, I'm going 4-0. I'm like, all right, I'm 4-0 right now. This wedding's in 2 hours. What's going to happen? Fast forward 2 hours. I'm now 6-0. We're in the middle of like round 7 and I'm and I win. And at that point my wife's just like, hey, get the kids in the car, we're going. And if you look on stream, you'll see when I played my round 5 match, because they caught me at the end of stream, I was in like sweats. By the time they caught me at the end of my round 7 or 8 match, I was already in a suit. So I really was planning on ditching and going to the wedding. I'm like, I'm 7-0, how am I going to like what am I going to do now? So and I don't know how Eggman caught wind of this as well, because I was in my Discords, and I guess some people were talking about that.
Yeah.
So this was supposed to be a meme pick for like not a meme pick, but like, hey, like I want to have fun with a deck I know. I brought Purple Luffy to Nationals back in December, like 05. So I was just trying to have some fun.
Okay. Yeah, and I mean, did you do a lot of testing before this? Was this kind of fresh into this regional?
So I will say, to really put things together, I had about maybe a week and a half of testing with this. I was actually on Zuro, and I really like Zuro, by the way. But in terms of this meta, I felt like in a 10-round tournament against what I went up against was a lot of black decks, I think Purple Luffy fares a lot better, and it's just more fun to play. So, but I will like give a small shout out to some of my friends. So Great Lakes TCG, there's a guy there named Devin, and he's a Purple Luffy stan. And so he's just been maining Purple Luffy for like all of 7.5, like 7.5, all of 8. He's won a bunch of like treasure cups and store championships as well with Purple Luffy. So he kind of gave a little bit of inspiration with this deck.
Great. Yeah. I mean, I want to say, this deck wasn't looking too good until Law was banned. It did have a big weekness against Red Purple Law, right?
Yeah.
And it really came off online because it could survive, more than a couple turns against an aggressive deck, right? Because
I would say 9 Mom helps a lot with that as well. Like people kind of sleep on the card. It's not really. I don't know. I feel like it just gives you that small little bit of stability you need at the end of game.
Yeah. I agree. Let's go a little bit over your list first. It seems kind of standard. I do want to say Andrew McCluskey, he went top 8 at Nationals with, I mean, there was obviously they didn't have 9 Mom yet. And so there's a couple things. You did have other things like Sheep's Horn and On Curve, Nature. And I know this deck's going to be looking a lot different in 8.5, possibly.
Oh yeah.
But it's kind of hard when this is doing so well. Why would you even change what's not broken, right? But
Honestly, the only thing at 8.5 I would consider keeping from this standard list is Paulie, given like the fact that I think Dofi's gonna be running around everywhere,
yeah.
and Paulie just kind of curves out into Dofi really well. But
Okay.
that's kind of it.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a lot of 4-drops, as we can tell, because you want to. It seems that you prefer to go first, and then hopefully play a 4-drop on curve. Is this most of the time, or if you go second, you just drop it on curve anyway?
Well, one thing that I really regretted at Nats was there was a couple games where I had nothing to do on my like if I went first on my 4-drop turn, it was just swing 9 pass.
Yeah.
And I really feel like the deck shines when you're able to build a wide board, especially in a removal heavy meta. And so in this deck, I tried to prioritize never missing that, body per turn type
Okay.
phenomenon.
Yeah. Okay. Even if like you win or lose a dice roll. Okay.
Yeah, no. And I'll bring it up a little bit once we go over the matchups or like
Sure.
basically my matchup for the day.
Yeah.
You'll see like, hey, these guys gave me the dice, like they gave me first, but
Yeah.
my deck doesn't mind going first at
I
all.
mean, it's kind of funny in a lot of situations, and I thought about this too. Whenever I face against a person who plays Magellan, right? If I'm on an odd curve already, if I'm going first against someone who plays a Magellan, if they hit me with Magellan, now I'm on an even curve. I don't care, right? But it hurts worse if it's the opposite. If I go second, and all of a sudden I'm on an odd curve, it's terrible.
No, no, that's agreed. But I don't know.
Yeah.
For some reason, for me personally, I just never liked playing Magellan like right off the bat, going second. I do sometimes, but
it's
I always
never
just
great.
like saving it and double dropping on 10, and that way
Yes.
I'm like secured and I'm really hurting you.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a better way to play it too. Especially if you're at 10, it doesn't affect you at all. You should be hitting that
Exactly,
some of the
exactly.
time.
And
Or
so it just really it pushes my agenda.
Okay, got it. So you're saying it actually is there any matchup you actually choose to go second, or are you actually choosing to go first every matchup?
I do choose to go second against a couple decks. So the one would be BY-Luffy. I think
Okay.
going second helps me out tremendously. Even if I am Magellan, you back to your even curve, I could still, how do I say it? I could still hold you back from, like, I could force you into self-activating and then keep you from being able to remove my bigger bodies because you kind of need Don and a hand to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna cost a lot of cards.
Yeah, it costs exactly, and so like the whole point of like the whole, I guess people have already figured this out. You just gotta grind their hand out and then swing the game, like establish a couple big bodies, swing for that one.
Yeah, against BY, do you prefer to just go aggressive, or do you actually just pause for a couple turns?
It's a dance. It really depends on what they're discarding. I do try to bring them down to like I will try to force activate or make them force activate on 6 or 7 Dawn, which is sometimes what they want to do anyway.
Yeah.
Only because if they're on like on the odd curve, that's 2 turns where they can't Moria, so that's 2 turns where they have to self activate if they want to stay at 9.
Okay. So you attack them basically. So okay.
I with this deck, yes, and the reason being is because I could use Magellan to kind of slow down the pace of the game to keep forcing them to have to use cards out of their hand if they want to keep playing the way they want to play.
Okay.
And so Magellan really helps in that matchup. Blocker Law helps in that matchup a ton.
Yeah.
And just having that 7 cost Urashima actually came in clutch multiple times this weekend against BY-Luffy. So
Yeah.
I was kind of sleeping on that card a little bit.
Yeah.
I love it.
This card is hilariously good. It looks so fucking stupid, but it's so great. That 7/9.
Oh yeah.
It's great. I think that's half the reason people play it, to be honest, is because it looks so stupid. Big belly. But
big belly.
Okay. Got it. Did Sheepthorn ever come up for you at all? Like this event?
Yes, actually. So against one of the BY-Luffys I played, they didn't respect the Sheepthorn. So they had 2 blocker Sabos, no life. I had the Urashima on field, actually. So I was able to swing. He blocked with one of the Sabos, and then I Sheep's Horn leader ability so I could ramp back that Dawn. I minus swung the rest with Urashima.
Oh my gosh.
So
Okay.
yeah, so it did come in. It did come in clutch. I know, but usually they feel very safe behind two sabos. But as long as you don't telegraph it, they'll typically give you the sabo early because they want to recycle it
Yeah.
because they want to put it back next turn. So even if they instead of giving you 2 cards out of hand or 1 card out of hand, give you that sabo for free.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So that does come up, and I think it's definitely a one or two of in
Mhm.
this kind of meta, right? Is there anything
Yeah,
you'd change about the
exactly.
list at all? Like if you had another tournament in 2 weeks, you know?
I would honestly. So the 7 cost kid was kind of a letdown. I actually did not play him all day.
Okay.
I saw him in hand a couple times, didn't even put him down.
You think maybe
Uh,
another Urashima, like
yeah,
or a
yeah,
Law?
definitely. Either Blocker Law or Urashima, either or.
Okay.
I think they're both good picks.
Okay.
It's really just preference depending on how much you want to see against one.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Well, with that, let's go through your matchups a little bit. I mean, we have it on the side of the screen. We don't have to go matchup by matchup. What happened, and then you did lose to Impact on round 8, which he ended up
Correct. Yeah,
getting.
that
You
was
know,
my first
he was in the
loss.
finals, so he was technically 5th though. But
He played really well. I messed up. I actually misplayed really bad that game, but I think he would have had it regardless.
oh, okay, got it. But he played it. He played it super well. Okay, because I mean that was your
He
only
played it. Yeah,
loss.
yeah.
Yeah, was there? I mean, I want to ask: is there any like tough matchups in this? Like, how was Reiju in general, or just did this Reiju brick against you?
No, the Reiju didn't break. So the Reiju chose to go second. He won dice roll, and
Okay.
he snap kept his hand. And I'm like, oh no, my hand terrible against Reiju. So I mulligan. I get a very average hand, but I do see my curve. Like I saw the Paulie, so I'm like, oh, I see Paulie. I can play this out.
Okay.
He messed up though, so he played down Black Maria. So when I got to my 10 Dawn turn, he played down Black Maria, ramped himself up to 10, essentially like at the end of his turn.
Yeah.
And the turn after, so he was basically he was prepping for a judge turn, and he told me he had judge in hand. He had all
Yeah.
the babies like in the grave. He had everything in
Uh,
the grave. It's everything set up. And I think they caught a clip. I think there might be a clip of this on Eggman's stream because this is when he joined it just towards the end for me to go
okay.
like lethal. So I played on Kaido. Kaido minus his 5. I
Yeah.
completely lock him out of being able to use any of his like Power Ranger abilities
Yeah.
for that turn because of the Kaido while popping. Like I was able to swing into the big ETG, so I killed the ETG. I was able to
Yeah.
pop one of his, I think a Niji as well, or maybe it was a Porsche, either or.
Yeah.
So I cleared this field essentially with that Kaido play, and then locked him out from being able to
That's so.
even use the baby Erasures from drawing.
That's
And
so funny. I mean, he to be honest, I think because you'd be at 5 Dawn, right?
I
At
went
that
down to
point.
5, yeah.
And then he can
I don't
go,
even
he can
think he can minus
judge.
5.
Well, he can judge, use judge
That's
skill, and
minus
then
1. Yes,
yeah, judge skill. So that's -2. He has a
yes.
skill on him, right? And so
Okay, I
he
got
could
yeah.
maybe use
Minus
one
2.
ETG if he remembers he could do that. But like it sounds pretty tough.
Well, no, so it's like judge skill, Niji, Ichiji, Reiju. So you could hit one of them. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
It
only
was really
one,
funny.
but like he's losing out on so much value, right?
Yeah, no, exactly. So he obviously didn't go for the judge play. He went for a couple like Porsche plays and tried to kind of. I think he played out like 2 baby Reijus and then passed, like planning
That
for
sounds
the
worse than just
next
playing
turn.
judge actually and just doing because it's a
He played
funny
what he
thing.
could.
It's a funny thing with Black Maria because you can actually ramp down too, but only on the end of the turn.
So that's what he did. So
Okay.
he re-ramped down to 5 to match me, so that his next turn he'll be equal to me no matter what I did.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he basically pushed himself back down to 5 at the end of his turn on purpose to try to kind of get into back into range.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Okay.
so that was a really cool. And I wasn't even like that's not something I typically do against Reiju. Against Reiju, usually you could just kind of just tempo or aggro them down.
Yeah.
Reiju, the issue with that is they have a very hard time dealing with big bodies. So once I put a Kaido down, once I put a 9-mom down,
They have to go
they don't
wide and
really
beat you before it gets too late. That's for sure.
exactly
They have to pray you
exactly.
have a lot of bricks, which this deck has a lot of bricks. So that's gonna
It
happen.
does it does. But
Yeah.
my numbers here are very specific in terms of like the
Mhm.
2Ks, the
Mm.
4 costs, 5 costs, and then the counters.
Yeah. Is there any thoughts on like Lucci or ST14 Luffy? Pure Black Luffy. What's your thoughts on what would you tell people to try to do?
Wait, like matchup wise?
Yeah. Just in general that matchup.
So I would say Lucci's on it. So Magellan's like the star in those matchups.
Okay.
He if that's the only time I would consider playing him on curve is if I get the second curve against Lucci, and I could play a Magellan on curve, like second, play the Paulie the next turn because I want to make sure like I want him to play a Kuzan or like a Rebecca that I could pop, or even sometimes they were playing vanilla Lucci's out without using leader ability. So some of them would play Brooks and swing 6. Because I basically I want them to have like play nothing for their 4-on turn. They're not playing Linos anymore, so it's not like they have immunity to Paulie, which is also another reason why Purple Luffy's doing a lot better in this meta specifically. Is because people aren't forces. Well, some are, but like he's not a 4 of in every black deck like he used to. Yeah, and so locking them to 4 means they can't play Sabo. So it just curves out really well.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Yeah. So Magellan's a key star. You can go wide. Their hand's half full of bricks as well, right?
Oh yeah.
And
so,
your top end's gross. So
yeah, that too. It was really funny because a lot of them would end up playing like because I would lock them down, so a lot of them would end up playing like Kalifa, and they'd draw 2 minus like discard 2, and they'd be discarding 2 Morias or 2 Jacks or like a Jack.
Yeah, because they're not gonna get to that
point. They're like I'm not gonna be able to play half these cards in the match, so they're already discarding their top end, and so that like bodes well because then once we grind them down to those last turns, I'm like, this guy has nothing in his hand.
Yeah, they can't outvalue you at that point.
Yeah, another tidbit against Black Luffy specifically, which I think was hilarious, that I've lost every dice roll to Black Luffy, and every Black Luffy took second and gave me first. And one thing I guess they didn't realize is if they went first on their 5-Dawn turn, they could attach one to leader, play a Kuzan, and then that Kuzan's out of range of Paulie ability.
Oh.
And then if that's like, or even a Rebecca, like their 4 cost, it'll be out of range of my Paulie ability. And so, but the reason why I guess they chose second is because they want to play that Sanji curve, because leader ability Sanji, they get to kill a 5 cost. It's actually really good tempo for them. But that and Morias and Jax. But it was just so good because they kept giving me that like the way I curve out. So then they'd be playing like a vanilla, like a Rebecca or a.
They're kind of damned that they do, damned that they don't. But that +1 level is so much. Being a level 5 Rebecca is actually pretty broken.
Yeah, especially against this deck, which has no way of popping it, like with Paulie. So I have to use Mom or.
It's the same thing with BY. It sucks. Right. Yep. So, but at least you found like its own little niche. So you had honestly a really good day with there. Would you say you had any like really in particularly interesting match or tough match?
Yeah, no, like I said, so my lost impact. Yes, I misplayed, but I think he would have had it anyway. He actually played it really well. He played it differently than a lot of BY Luffy players do.
Oh, well, what did you do?
I found it's really just, how do I say it? He was prioritizing removing my board rather than like he 3 times or twice that game he would like Ice Age my mom, then just vanilla like on a 6-Dawn turn.
Yeah.
He Ice Aged my big mom, played the Rocket Luffy, pop it, draw it, and then like when I played out the big guy, he did the same thing. Like he kept prioritizing killing my top end to not give me the ability to Sheep's Horn swing, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
and so even though I went wide, like there's actually you'll see the clip too. I had like 2 Magellans on field. I like an MSL Sunday, like Queen Kid. Like I had a whole board full of swingers, but I couldn't. I'd have to waste a lot of Dawn to get up there because he literally wiped my board every time I played a big character out. He just prioritized killing it rather than advancing his own. Like even if it put him in a slightly
a 7K or just a 5K with the blocker.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I think that's a good thing to do.
That's kind of what he did.
Yeah, because I play BY and I had a recent thing at locals, and I thought, wait, if I just remove this, it saves me a card in the future because the 9 drop is just too much. Like any 9K 10K body is absolutely gross. You don't care about small bodies. You only care about big bodies. And most of the time, the big bodies you're playing against, I'm going to say like Gecko Moria, Jack, they usually are followed up with by a Sabo, so you can't really remove them, right?
Yeah.
So it actually really sucks. But against things like purple or red, they can't really stop the removal, or yellow, right? I'm gonna try to remove the other card every other time.
Yeah.
And it just depends on what they can do, because some people, they have to use all their Dawn in order to play a card. And so if I just become a 7k leader, that means that they can't do anything. They have to either play a big card and pass turn, or swing at me like twice. Right?
Yeah, no, like but I don't know how you feel it. I personally feel like BY Luffy should be purple Luffy favored, as long as they don't like kind of brick. But so like I said, I was really impressed with how, like, the way he played though.
Yeah.
Because I really wasn't put in that situation before.
Yeah, definitely needs to be looked at a little bit more. It's definitely an interesting matchup for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, with that, I think that's really introspective. I'm curious to what you're looking at for 8.5. How would you change this? I would like to see a build at some point. You know, I want people to come and check in on the Discord, ask Godon, hey, how's that purple Luffy build going? But you said you had like another channel.
Experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing I want to say is a small shout out to, but even before any of this like weekend happened, me and a few friends of mine, we're Michigan locals. We're doing this new channel, or actually like events. Really, it's called like Great Lakes TCG. We've been hosting many events. We're actually starting a YouTube channel. Hopefully, it'll be up, by the time this video goes up. I don't think we'll have anything uploaded though.
Yeah.
But we've been doing events. We've been collecting deck profiles. We just hosted like a 40-man event locally with Michigan. And we're trying to really culture the scene there. So we've had a few people top Dallas. We had a top 16 Nami was, and he was second in Swiss. One of our locals. And just now, me getting this top, and we are really, and I don't know, we're really just trying to develop the card game in Michigan, really get more consistent tops, because you see these other places. I like shout out Texas, Florida, Arizona. Like, they have multiple serial winners in their local shop. These guys are going crazy all the time, and we want to try to develop that same feel here in Michigan.
So Great Lakes TCG, the YouTube, all the information, we'll have that in the description and the comments, so you guys can click on that.
Correct.
Great. Okay.
All right. Any other questions, concerns?
Oh, no, that's it. Yeah, that. Thanks for the shout out. Thank you for doing the video, and thank you all so much for sticking through and watching the video. We'll see you all in the next one. Ciao.